Hey, let's talk about managing shifts as an admin in AttendanceBot. So from the settings dashboard, shifts has its own module, and I'm going to start in the create and view shifts because that's where the calendar exists and kind of basic functionality. So here we'll default to a weekly view, but I kind of prefer the monthly view, so I'm going to go up here and change that view so it looks more like a calendar. Also notice the shift attribute is telling you how the calendar is organized, basically how the color coding will work so that you can kind of see shifts by person, by location, office. There's some other options as well. And then finally, I can also filter down to just looking at a specific person's shift. So on this calendar, I have no shifts created yet. And to create a shift, I'm just going to choose normal or open. For now, let's do normal. And kind of a basic process, I get to select the person, the date. Start time is pretty easy, and let's just say that they're going until 8:30, kind of a weird shift. So these are the basic fields. These are additional attributes down here that I have selected. So I've selected for a location to be a relevant attribute on shifts. I'll talk about that in a little. And then office, of course, has to do with your own internal hierarchy, as does department. I can as well choose to make this shift repeating on multiple days, on multiple weeks or months. All that is possible. I'm going to go ahead and create it. And this is just notifying me that this person was on PTO during some of the shifts, but the shift still exists. So we'll see here in the calendar. Now I have all of these shifts created, and we're good to go. So one minor note is if you want to copy shifts or have shifts last for more than a month, it's really easy to just directly copy shift based on a date and a person or an office, and then take the shift from that date and copy it to another larger date range, and just as simple as that. So next I want to talk about open shifts. Open shifts are basically shifts that are viewable, accessible to those that haven't been directly assigned. And so, of course, if a shift has a specific attribute, like it's only in a specific location or for a type of role, people without that role won't be able to view the shifts. But when you create an open shift, what you're creating is just a recurring shift at a specific time, may or may not have an attribute, and then your team, when they're looking up shifts, can see that shift, claim that shift if they want it. I'll show you what it looks like at base. This looks pretty good to me. I'm not going to set an attribute. Or maybe I will. And of course, I need the title, new shift. Okay, now when I go to open shifts, I see this new shift. Your teammates from Slack or Teams or from this calendar can view that shift and claim that shift. And then finally, talking about attributes. So as I said, some shifts may be specific to a location, department, office, role. These can be created, they can be made mandatory, and what happens is that now when you create a shift, if you apply a specific attribute, then when you look to assign that shift, you'll only see people with that attribute. When people look to claim a shift, they'll only see people with that attribute. All that is pretty simple, and that's the shift management module.